Welcome again to my messy home. Ooh. I have been doing kitchen cleanup, but my home is still pretty messy, especially the kitchen. So when I was sitting around, I looked down and I saw this. And I thought one reason that my home is messy is that I hold on to something like this, thinking well, first of all, this has only been empty for a day. But what I mean is, I have a lot of stuff, and I'm using this to exemplify. I look at this and I think, what if I need a container that size and shape again in the future? And in another way, everything I have is sort of like, well, what if I need that again in the future? If it's, something expensive or durable, we can understand. But I feel like as a society, we poke fun of, make reality shows, and make fun of hoarders when people hold on to things like this. So my feeling of reluctance to toss this seems crazy, right? Okay. What seems crazy to me is giving up this earth for things like this. Or things like this. This is so timely since it's Christmas time. It's the holidays. It's last week. Special containers or any kind of containers, wrapping, packaging that is designed for one use and then garbage. I mean, like this thing's made out of wood. Is this worth the destruction of our planet? Hi, son. You're not in any danger from us. Lucky you. But everything within the Earth and its atmosphere is completely threatened because we make things like this and everything else that we make. But for this video, I'm going to talk specifically about things like this. So because of my frustration, with the way things are, and the inability to change, because of corruption, lack of democracy. Because of all that frustration, I am channeling it into imagining a better world. And if I'm lucky, I'll make a story. I have probably a multi-book series in me on this topic. And in my better world, every neighborhood would have a collection center for things like this. And that's where every person would go when they need to ship something or give a gift or whatever. All packaging would be, I mean, there's no reason for me to keep it in my house, but there's also no reason to throw these things away on a planet that we're killing. So, now this would have been the timing. This should have been when I heard the birds chirping. I don't know. I mostly hear man-made sounds, but I heard some birds chirping earlier. It was cute. Um, oh, I wrote a script. I didn't write it down. It's just in my head. So I'm talking about, you have to watch from the beginning. If someone is here, hi. Let me show you where I live. So I'm in the middle of making the point that consumerism is killing our planet. It's the drive to have things, materialism. And I have a messy house because I don't throw away things as easily as others do. Even weird little things like this, like my mind thinks, can I possibly reuse that? And I normally wear these when I stream, but I was hoping to catch the birds, but all I hear is beeping trucks. And I don't like to hear beeping trucks, so I'm gonna put these on. And you should hear me better when they're on, I think. Maybe. Somebody said they don't. Hi. So, I was doing a whole thing, and then I saw a viewer, and I got freaked out, even though it's probably just future me checking in. Hey. Um, so, because of my disappointment in the world, not the earth, but the people, because of that, because of my disappointment, I am imagining a better world. And in my better world, there would be centers in every neighborhood, to take things that you no longer need. I mean, there would probably, I live in a multi-unit, multi-story building. There'd probably be one here, you know. Um, but definitely within walking distance of every home, because that's an important principle of my better world, is that most things would be within walking distance. But
So that's where, I might go if I'm giving someone a gift and I need a box and tissue paper. So, hoarders like me wouldn't have to hold on to it because we would live in a world that valued keeping a pristine environment over making things to throw away. I mean, isn't that prettier than this? But because of messed up human values, this is winning. In my better world, there would be, you'd have to, this packaging probably wouldn't be allowed. This plastic. Um, oh, I was gonna set up the tripod, but it suddenly got really, really bright. Boy, my windows are dirty. We've discussed it. And it also has bad, like decades old tint. Tint. I'm a language lunatic. Maybe I should just call this show the ADHD hour. Hour? That's why it takes 3 hours usually. um, what was I saying? It's too bright. Well, I'm gonna have to look at my ugly home and my ugly face instead of the beautiful river. Try it again. What about an angle? Down? No, doesn't really help, does it? Um, yeah, it's still beautiful, even with the glare. So, I was trying to make a point, but in the face of nature and just appreciating nature and kind of like being quiet and enjoying life, there's a tension between, how much of limited human energy are we going to devote, each of us, to making life better or trying to communicate just all that stuff. Something to struggle, I mean, I say making things better. That's the idea of what we struggle for, right? So like how much of my limited human time, life and energy do I um, put into uh, I'll just call it work, improvement, effort, and how much in just in enjoying, experiencing, being. Oh yeah, I can just say how much being, how much doing. And the culture that abused me, I mean raised me, I mean um, misraised me, whatever, is considers itself a work hard, play hard culture, which I think just means never stopping to think because um, like working hard is um, working at a pace and a load that is actually um, like causes pain, like it's harmful. That's what working hard uh, feels like. I mean, the best work I do, I enjoy. So just a little, and so is that working hard? I don't know. But I have said I want to write a book. I think that would be hard work. But anyway, and then the play hard is, just oh, I'm gonna party, get distracted, spend money, uh, put my mind in an altered state, work hard, play hard, or like climb mountains and uh, go water skiing, um, whatever it is, but not just being, doing and being. So what's the balance of doing and being? Uh, what is the balance of doing and being? Okay, so like do, I'm going to eat one of these, and then I'll be, meaning I'll sit still and determine if I want to eat a second one. That's the difference between doing and being, or a difference. So yeah, I started this thing off. It was going to be a nice, tight, taut thriller. No, it was going to be focused, but like I say, it's the ADHD half hour. So in my better world, I said that there probably wouldn't be single-use plastic, and there may not be plastic at all as we know it. Um, and I said that, I mean, I said, whatever, I haven't written it yet, but I plan for there to be like a committee that decides, that approves what packaging can exist. Um, so, yes, um, the capitalists of today would be upset that what I'm describing is out of control bureaucracy. Actually, it'd be very much in control because it's going to be a democracy. Because of our history, we have come to view government as an oppressive them, other, but government in a democracy is we, the people, is us. But the reason that we don't believe that is that we don't actually live in a democracy. So, in my better world, there would be a democracy, and and part of the story will be about how a world like ours could get to, you know, a better world, and a part of the story will be set during the time period when things are better, because I want to live in that world. So I'm already living it in my mind, and part of it is that there would be centers well staffed. I mean, this is what I'm talking about, this bureaucracy, because we the government should be the largest entity because it's all of us. It's insane. Like I said, we let's not use the word insane, but we have a legacy reason for viewing the government as an oppressive they. and we haven't learned. I mean, the people who set up our country didn't want a democracy, and but also I would just say that um, because of our history, we're not actually familiar with the concept of what it would look like to be in a democracy. Um, I'm really fond of democracy because I say everyone gets a say. I mean, I say I'm annoying myself. um, the real principle that my future society rests on is autonomy. So um, there would be free association, uh, not so much a top-down government, but um, maybe not on a daily basis, but basically um, you're free to move and you're free to withdraw from whatever governing group or coalition or cooperative that you've become a part of at any time. So through established, you know, procedures. So maybe not at any time, at specified times, but much more frequently than our flippant election terms. What else? Well, I was describing the bureaucracies that would approve packaging and also the bureaucracy of like managing the centers where unwanted items are brought in and refurbished and delivered to who needs it. Um, I mean, bureaucracy, I think, means office workers. So actually, my government probably would have very few of those. I don't know. I suppose there always needs to be people tracking things. But, we don't want bad backs in my better world. So uh, there's not going to be anyone who sits at a computer or a desk, whatever, 40 hours a week. So it's fun to imagine the specific functions of a better world. It's fun for me. It's like whatever book I eventually write, if I do. But it's like what I'm envisioning is sort of like Star Trek without the boring action. I'm just gonna have like committee meetings in government and I'm reading the the comment, right? They're popular. Um, and so I like the idea of um, there would be less garbage and more reuse. Well, you just take things to the center. It would just be part of like your normal walking errands. And now let's see. When's the last time I've eaten? I stayed up all night. I'm trying to figure out if it's a time for me to take pills. I uh, but I can sit down and decide when I've eaten. That's true. So in my better world, I mean, would people be unhappy? Um, there's always room for conflict because there's questions like, I have a crush on so and so. Do they like me? Um, I don't know if I'm going to write the book I want to write, or um, but there wouldn't be conflicts over resources because I'm taking a world that's like ours and making it ethical. So, um, at our current state of technology, I believe that we could all live very comfortably. I believe that the barrier is greed. Um, One of the ways I imagine transitioning from a world like ours to a more um, communal, cooperative community. Uh, I'm avoiding socialist. I don't know. I mean, I was screeching about democracy 15 minutes ago, but it wasn't that long ago. Um, it's always a good time to break for a joke. I um, I went to years of therapy, and um, I learned. I feel really. I feel like I learned something really, really life um, altering when I was in therapy, and that was a pretty accurate sense of time when I'm talking. That's my, I believe, uh, most lasting takeaway from therapy. That, as I say, is a joke, but if I do actually value that skill. Um, if I wanted to give a truthful top benefit of therapy for me, I would say simply the concept, the idea, the affirmation that talking about feelings is valid, is a worthwhile use of time. That would be my top takeaway from therapy. I'm, I was about to say a big picture guy. I'm not the type to list little habits that therapy taught me or to give credit to some prescription or I I don't know if others do or don't, but I think like holistically, like with my back, which is my current uh, pain obsession, I can joke. I'm obsessed about it. That's for damn sure. Anyway, uh, there's such a strong temptation as an American, as me, my upbringing, that I wish that they would just go stick me with a needle or an operation, and then it would just all be over, and I'd be cured and saved by while being completely passive, basically, except for spending money and going through some awkwardness, some discomfort, but not. I don't know what the fuck I'm saying, but if there's a faster and more passive route, that's the one I was trained to take. It sounds active, but I do mean passive. I would love an answer to be given to me. I would love to just latch on to a person, a doctor, an acupuncture, massage, chiropractor, a specific thing in my diet. I hear it not just about chronic pain, but I hear advice for like the one thing that you've got to do, blah 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 blah. Because of limited time, limited attention, people are drawn to, people including me are drawn to these simple explanations. And I don't believe that's accurate. I believe that's a bias or a limitation because of our limitations. Because of our limitations, we're biased to this. Keep it simple. Mm. I was thinking, keep it simple, sweetheart. I thought of that yesterday because there's another acronym that's rude, and I don't. Yes, I have a sense of humor, but I don't like words that I'm going to repeat or incorporate into my beliefs. Words are so overpowered, superpowered, that I don't want to give negative concepts the fast track. I mean, I say that they're already there. Most of my life, I'm my first instinct and training is a negative concept. And so I work to eliminate those. So keep it simple, sweetie. Yeah, KISS. Because I don't want to lose the KISS acronym. I just want to lose the rude James Carville type behavior. So my positive, super positive belief system is at odds with most people, and so it's interesting. It puts me in an interesting position that I am against everyone because I'm positive. Um, so I try not to focus on it. I mean, when I'm talking here, it's just us, but I mean, I can say anything here, my therapy. But when I am like doing my work, I don't. Um, if I was around someone and they said, keep it simple, stupid, I don't give the long, drawn out explanation. I just said. But I might say, I mean, it depends on how, how well I know the person. But I might say, oh yeah, but when I, but when I say that, I say keep it simple, sweetie, because I like people, or or if I'm talking to myself, I want to treat myself with respect, or anyone. I could see myself saying something like that. Does that make me in opposition to James Carville? Well, so my first reaction is fuck yes, because I can't stand the guy. But this is the challenge of a love-based philosophy is number one, like I said, not to talk about it constantly because people really don't like it. Like I said, this is my safe space. But out in the world, okay, so I'm not a Christian, and I think the word mission is a negative word because of its violent, oppressive associations. But then again, there's like space missions. But for me, like mission, it has a positive root, positive etymology. That would be its genes, and then its proven. Well, it's also its provenance because as it changes, um, which is also part of the etymology, but as it changes, it yeah. So when I look up a word, I look at both the earliest that it comes from, and then that's what I consider the nature, like the creation of the painting, and then the history and usage is the nurture or the provenance of the art. Anyway, um, I don't do this for every word. I do this for important words. I really want. I think the word book could be my first book because it's. I'm going to regret saying this, but the simplest, easier than writing a story, easier than writing a life story. Um, and it would be useful for me to write the good words book because I like to use good words. But when I think about, okay, I'm gonna, charge ahead and focus on this narrow, this project, this one project out of, I'll just say 2 dozen. Um, when I think about like sitting down, if I were sitting down right now and said, this is 3 hours, work on the word book, it wouldn't flow. I would be like forcing myself to think of, oh yeah, and then I'd end up writing things that weren't true because I was just trying to fill a book. When I say true, do I mean I'm gonna lie? No, I just mean forced. But that's the conflict between doing and being. You want your revelations to come from being, but then you've got to do the doing if you want to share it with others. And I think that's what happens here as well. I have a conflict between being and doing, and I've sided more on the being side, maybe, more so than most people, maybe. Peut-être, quizás. I have a headache. I can't remember when the last time I had a headache, but well, oh, well, I haven't slept, and my neck might be causing a headache. I know one thing I was talking about was like the types of intervention, and I said if there's a passive, and did I say expensive? And just only, and fast with only slight inconvenience or even major inconvenience. I think it's the length of time because people will go through all sorts of voluntary surgery and scarring and whatever if they get back on their feet fast, which makes sense. Our time is limited. So, that's what my culture prefers over long term, slow, but lasting improvement, change. We prefer the flashbang, pay for it now, put your fate like in the hands of one or two experts, pay the money, be passive in that sense, um, have like an operation done on you versus changing diet and exercise and way of life, um, et cetera, et cetera. And I say it has to be both. I say I need the nature and the nurture. I say I need the doing and the being. I say I don't no, I say you only hear what you want to. That could be a fun game. Take a song with a lot of you and I in it and reverse it and see if you can do it. Well, I don't know all the words to any song. Well, that's not true, but to I don't know them. I say you only hear what you want to. You don't listen anyway. You never understand. You're only hearing negative. No, no, no. You miss me. Ah, you miss me. You turn the radio off. But yeah, I say that the I don't believe, based on 13 months with the current doctor, and or maybe 14, maybe 15. The time keeps keeps moving. Um, but not quite a year and a half is what I was. Um, 2 hurricane seasons ago. Um, well, by two I mean like the one that just ended, and oh my god, I'm having fun this morning. Just, but yeah, I think getting better. I think I need the juice. I think I need my pills to give me enough pain relief to do exercise, stretching. But I think the stretching and the exercise is the most important, actually. The most likely to, if I'm ever going to have like long term relief, I think it's going to come from that. And changing my internal mental health. What other kind of mental health is there? Hey, I'm the one talking. I called it that on purpose. I think what you meant was the most, the subconscious and but not only subconscious, because also just the reflexive. So I'm calling that, I guess, my internal mental health, at least right now. And and if it weren't so early, I would belt into and yeah, yeah, we'll always love. Um, so when I do a recording like this, which I haven't done in a long time, I'm showing ADHD. I'm speaking my thoughts. It's a stream of consciousness stream, and I'm in a way I'm exhibiting mania by speaking most of my thoughts as soon as they come. My uh, Back when I was doing these streams more often, I theorized that mania is a desire to live in the moment every moment. Um, and I theorized that depression was living in the past and anxiety was living in the future. I guess I've heard that before, but I guess I added the mania, which can involve anxiety certainly. But so maybe you don't have to talk about depression and anxiety when you're talking about mania. You're right, I don't. But oh, because manic depression goes together. So it's easy for you to jump from mania to depression. But then once you're in the past, you're like, oh, I've talked about the present, I've talked about the past, and now I have to talk about the future. And then suddenly you're talking about anxiety. So maybe you want to rewrite this passage. I don't know if I'll ever actually write anything, but the the books that I have in mind are colon, and if you steal them and at least one that's better, that's good. I would hope you. All my presence is CC by NC. Uh, that might be it. CC Creative Commons by Give Attribution NC non-commercial. There's possibly one more, but I don't remember what the other restriction would be. Um, my book ideas: science fiction, hope punk, better world. Takes place on 3 planets. I like it. It I see it as a series and or a really long book. I definitely see it as the hardest thing to write because I don't have experience writing characters, and I mean it's very intimidating. And then where am I going to write it? How am I going to release it? Who's going to, all of that is also intimidating. So that would be a huge mountain to climb. Um, maybe so that's less intimidating. Maybe I could imagine short stories within that universe. What's funny? As soon as I start saying that, I start thinking about this is how fucked up capitalism makes. I start thinking about the rights. What if it gets published and then later the other thing gets published by a different company, and it's like, oh my god, um, money making is a drug. Is an affliction. But so that's one of my books, sci-fi. But yeah, I think because it's so intimidating, I can put the book on the back burner and just imagine writing a short story within the universe of the book. And I don't have to decide right now, but I can decide whether I just set it in one of the three planets or do I want to have a little bit in all three like I want to. Okay, I don't know, but that gives me a little bit of hope because I've been feeling intimidated by this project. Okay, what's another book you want to write? Well, I won't be bossed around by past me. Yes, I'm making a list and I've started off with one, therefore I'm motivated to jump into the next one, but I'm more motivated to go beep beep.
living in the moment is optimal. I no longer think that mania feels like a disordered attempt to live in the moment, every moment. But I now realize that's not true, because living in the moment every moment means the moment I have an idea and the moment I do it gives me an opportunity to change my mind if I'm in the moment. So that instead of having an idea and sticking to it maniacally, manically, I can have an idea and then change my mind. But that's living in the moment. So, well, maybe mania is an attempt to reduce the time between the thought and the action. That would be living in the moment, right? I think it's a confusion, a misunderstanding. Okay, tell me why you said that. Because I think that it's do and be aren't separated, like, unfortunately. Do and be are separated fortunately. Okay, what are you trying to say? I'm saying I believe the ideal flow chart is a thought, no action, no action, or other action, more likely from prior. A thought, evaluating the thought. Right. Right. Oh, so you're saying that mania is shutting down any thoughts, reevaluating, like sticking to a wild idea, an exciting idea, whatever, and maybe a destructive idea, but a neighbor. I just saw a neighbor opening her shades because it's winter time, so let the sun in is good. And also she was on the telephone. I rarely see neighbors doing anything other than walking to the elevator or watching TV. I'm not saying that's all they do, I'm saying that's what I see. But you were sort of implying that's all they do. Well, I don't like the people who live here, or I'm prejudiced against them because of how some of them vote, and just like I'm prejudiced against the United States. And white people, I guess is what I really mean. And you fiddled with this thing and now it's broken. Now how are you going to re-gift it? Calm the fuck down. It was probably broken before. I could have just a thing running along the bottom. This is Rob's stream of consciousness. It's a therapeutic technique to voice every thought as it comes. And I started doing this, I feel like in the spring, and I've been interested in stream of consciousness since I first learned the term in grade school, high school, and I read the stories that were described as stream of consciousness, and I would think that this isn't stream of consciousness. This is a well-written story. So, was that the beginning of my interest in the topic? I don't know. Maybe. That's what school's for, right? Introducing ideas. Being exposed to the culture of the past, so I don't have to reinvent everything in my short life. Yeah. But if you want improvement, education is not indoctrination. Ooh, maybe it'll get warm enough today that I'll clean these windows. I tried cleaning them a while back, and I made them cloudy. And for a long time I had been thinking that I needed to find a squeegee because I know I must own one. I mean, I know I own one. But then yesterday I thought I could just stand on a stepladder. But now, as I'm saying that, I had an idea of where the squeegee might be. Also, I'm not in a rush to do this project. You A and B. Oh, also, I messed with the settings. So maybe I'm not even being heard, which is always an exciting possibility. And I'm talking to myself, and it's still loud. So, just so you understand what launched me into this mood, I stayed up all night, and then I took the weed chemical gummy. So, I normally don't take a whole one. I normally don't take a whole one. Oh my God, during that silence I was actually writing a social media post and not even thinking, well, you're on air, you're on social media right now, you could be just saying what you're thinking. And I'm like, no, I'll save that for Mastodon. There's a thing going around, Deck Rex, December Rex, these are an accurate, as much as I can. Oh, that's so fun. Been invited to a party in the building on January 12th. No, normally they send things out for like the current people. Schnappy schnollins. Schmay the schmerry schmabble, schmeep schmeeming. Oh, that's annoying. I'm annoying myself now, great. Just waiting until I sleep. You were gonna look for the squeegee. I know, but I got a drink instead, and now I wanna be in the sun. The squeegee can wait. Another thought round. The squeegee can wait until the next time that I wanna get up. So this is like a form of living in the moment. I have freedom. I don't have a paying career. I don't have a wife, or a husband. I don't have children. I don't have any commitments today. I have a maybe-ish, but nothing will happen if I don't do it. I am in danger of becoming overdrawn. And, but I'm not sure about that. And there is something I can probably do to help with that. So that's a good priority. So as I was, justifying to you or explaining to you my lack of commitments, I realized that I just made the choice that there is something urgent-ish that I can do fairly, I believe, something worth checking. to my values, the next most difficult, yeah, that's a fun way of ordering it. The next most difficult would be to write about my life story. Would that be, no. Yes. Because of the emotional concerns and thoughts about what to say about others, how honest to be about others. Yeah, that would be a very difficult book to write. But I still think that's less difficult than writing fiction. Okay. Who knows? Ranking is rarely accurate or wise. The wisdom of ranking, you believe, is the necessity of prioritizing our limited resources, the use of our limited resources. Right. And that causes limitations and more limitations, failure, and prejudice. You want some aromatherapy, don't you? I do. But you don't want to damage this cute. Well, it's here, isn't it? Isn't that why I have these things? Okay. Don't get angry. You think this is angry? I'll show you. Angry? Why did you say it like that? I don't know. Who cares? What's on your mind? A lot, but okay, so I was living in the moment, having a lot of thoughts that were taking a lot of time. And then I started living in a new moment. So oh yeah, I remember now. I don't really want to burn that in there because it makes a stain. Incense, it kind of like leaves a resin, so you do actually want to burn it in something that isn't. Well, let's start it on your fingers. Yeah, because they're not precious. It's not what I meant. By lighting it on my fingers, I got my eyes on it. And I know it burns slowly. That's reasoning based on my past experience. Oh, it does. I like this stick more than most of my other incenses. I don't know. I just came from a friend's house. I was house sitting and I liked the way it smelled, so I took a couple home. Yeah. That's what happens if you have house sitters. do you want to do? I want to. So that would be one of my books would be about word choice, including things like I prefer to say I want to rather than I need to. I've seen a meme going around of like really perky people that say, I get to. You know, I get to go to the library. I get to worry about my bank becoming overdrawn. I get to do that. Yeah, I think I want to. I think my choice makes sense for both circumstances, and I get to does not. Because I do want to, I could change the word from worry to be conscious of what's going on with my financial situation. I do actually want to do that. And I find I want to more powerful than I need to. The I get to framing, I don't view as empowering, I view as motivating. It can be inspiring to know, like I get to be alive is pretty exciting. Do I want to be alive? I don't want pain. Do I need to be alive? No, I don't think so. We're playing the want to, get to, need to game. I want to eat something and take pills if I'm going to stay up. I get to do that. I want to write a book. I get to write a book. Whatever. We're all different. But, you know, I think I'm right. I didn't realize I had turned the camera, so yep. So that happened. This incense kind of smells like soap. If you know of an incense that smells sort of soapy, let me know. I get to ask you that. I want to ask you that. Sometimes want to is to needy? Well, no, you're replacing need to. Aha. All right. Well, I mean, I guess you're saying sometimes want to is too strong. Well, you just said I want to ask you what incense smells like soap, but really you don't care that much. But that's not true. Because I want to know. Yeah, I want to know what this scent is. Okay. So I do want to ask you. If you might recognize this scent and be able to steer me to buying it in the future. Speaking of the future, do you want to imagine more of your Better World book, or do you want to, or get to, oh, so why don't we jump right to the word book? I think, I feel like, potentially, This is the equivalent of turning down the radio to look for a parking space or whatever. Look for an address. I think it makes more sense. I'm doing my best. I don't know if I'm doing my best. That's another expression I like to get to that I feel is over the top motivation. Yeah, I see what you're saying. I know you do, but I haven't always been able to put it into words. Why I'm kind of crabby. I want like a realistic level of everything. Oh my god, I can't believe, I was about to say I can't believe I live in a building with people who voted for Trump. I can't believe I live in a world, in a country, in a world. I used to say I wanted to do voiceovers. I'm really interested in voices. It makes me mad that credits for animated features or TV shows often put the voice actors all on for a very short period of time. Oh boy. I'm surprised I haven't gone to sleep. Maybe I should be concerned. Oh no, this is just what happens. Sometimes your pain keeps you up all night. And you're not upset because, yeah, like I didn't take the weed gummy. I did not take until I had already stayed up all night. So, you know, it's only been a few hours. Like, maybe I took it right before I started the stream. Around then. Within an hour, within 45 minutes of me starting the stream is when I took the weed gummy. It's not what kept me from sleeping. The pain is what kept me from sleeping, and the motivation for taking the weed gummy, which is definitely changing my demeanor. Not completely. You were already on a bit of a activity upswing. Okay, but the sleep is going to have to factor in there. It will when your exhaustion overcomes your pain. There will come a point at which your exhaustion will exceed your pain, those two sensations, and that's when you'll be able to sleep. It's the old being and doing balance. Trying to make a monkey out of me. Okay, so if you think your sense of timing is so good, you haven't looked at the screen. How long do you think you've been streaming? And before you answer, remember all that you've done. You started out, yeah, I remember, I don't have to go through it. Some things are an act. I'm looking at the clock on the wall. That's allowed. I said don't look at the screen. But the clock on the wall doesn't help me because I didn't make a mental note of when. But, well, my sense is less than 2 hours. It's coming up on 9:30. We're about 3 or 4 minutes away from 9:30 on that clock. And you remember when it was, but this isn't the way you're supposed to find out. You're supposed to just feel, how long do you think it's been? The last time you referenced time, you were talking about you don't remember. You're losing it. You're trying to do stupid things, unimportant things. You're trying to remember. You're not even on camera. You're having this whole overactive performance, and you're not even on screen, you goofball. Feeling good is my top priority in life, and so I am feeling good. I'm living up to my values today, or right now. Better? Is better, yeah. Okay, now if you go back to where you were at the time that you got distracted by noticing the camera position, will you remember what you were saying? It's a good, awesome. Whatever, it's worth trying. I'm trying to guess how long the stream has been running. And I don't want to just be like, oh my God, it's been 2.5 hours. Even though I'm going to say, even though I feel like it's less, I'm going to say it's coming up on 2 hours. Oh, okay, but what's your feeling? I feel like, well, it's still coming up on 2 hours. Well, why did you... So you want to say on the low end, 1:15? No, I want to say 1.5 to 2 hours. Okay. And this stream has been going for 1 hour 38 minutes. Yes, gentlemen. And I felt like it had been 2 to 2.5. No, you had conflicting feelings. Yeah. Duration-wise, you didn't feel it had been that long, but something about the clock, something else made you feel like it had been a long time. Whatever, what does any of that mean? Who cares? Do you think you're interesting? Do you think your content is interesting? No. Well, I mean, that's not for me to decide. You taking an hour and a half and mistakenly feeling like it had been 2.5 hours is, in a way, it's putting what you're doing down, because there's a critical voice that's saying, oh my God, you just waste so much time doing nothing, that kind of thing. Maybe. Well, might be the warmest opportunity for you to rewash those windows. It might be. So here's part of like the thinking and the doing and making decisions. I can think it, and I can continue to progress towards a decision I've made, and still leave room, have time to change my mind. Maybe I'll do ice on my back for the, oh, I'll do the massager. I haven't done that in so long. I have not been doing well. I haven't been streaming, and I've been in my room mostly. And so it's interesting that I'm reporting that my pain is higher and I'm not able to be controlled by medication currently, and yet my mood is upper than it was yesterday because of the weed and because of some good conversations and conversations on Mastodon and with my and via text. One person, my boyfriend. And with myself, always talking to that guy. So everything I do it for you, future me. I started abstract painting because I wanted to get emotions out. I suppose in a safe way or in a beautiful way, in a pleasing way, and I learned that abstract painting is a therapy for me, and the best therapy. But then now I live in a existence. But because it's abstract, I think that anyone can look into it and see what you choose to see, and therefore can be about your existence as well. Which I say because it's abstract, we don't feel the same way about looking at a lantern or a lighthouse or a lovely lassie. Lassie was a laddie. Nobody had any problems with that. And then you don't know for sure that nobody did. Another bathroom break. I'm drinking a lot of tea and it's been 5 hours. No, it has now been an hour 45-ish. An hour 48. But you're an hour 46. Okay, so coming up on 47. So you still got it in the sense of time. I mean, at least sometimes, obviously nothing's permanent. Oh, you're trying to make a decision about whether you want to keep this video short or not. Well, which do you like better? Right now, this one. Since it seems to be bothering you, why don't you end this stream now and just start another? I like the idea, but will it sell? No. You never asked that question. No. Will it float? Will it? But will it fly? Will it hold water? Who cares? So annoying. Anyway, I think you're just trying to remember something specific. See you next time.